If you feel a constant restlessness, like you can already see where things are going while everyone around you is still arguing about whether to start, I want you to consider this. You're not impatient. You're ready before the world catches up. You've been keeping time on a faster clock. And the ache you feel is just the gap between when you arrived and when everyone else will. We're quick to call it impatience, that itch you feel. And impatience sounds like a flaw, like you can't wait your turn, like you want everything now. But pause on that for a second. A lot of what gets labelled impatience isn't greed for the future, it's the discomfort of already living in it. You're not refusing to wait. You're standing somewhere ahead, looking back, wondering why the rest of the room is moving so slowly toward a place you can already see clearly. Think about the first bird that sings before sunrise. Out in the dark, while the whole world is still asleep, one bird starts up. Not because it's confused, but because it's wired to sense the light coming before there's any light to see. To anyone half awake, that bird sounds early, even wrong, singing into a sky that's still black. But the bird isn't wrong. It's just tuned to a dawn that hasn't arrived yet. It's not singing too soon. It's singing right on time. For a morning, the rest of the world can't feel coming. That's closer to what's happening with you than impatience admits. There's a real difference between being early and being wrong, and the world is terrible at telling them apart in the moment. Being wrong means the thing you saw was never going to happen. Being early means the thing you saw is absolutely going to happen. You just got there first, and now you have to live in the strange, lonely gap between your timing and everyone else's. That gap aches, but it's not a flaw. It's the cost of arriving early. Let me tell you about someone. I'll call him Daniel. Daniel was always the one in the meeting who could see it. The change coming, the better way, the thing that was obviously going to matter in a year. And he was always the one tapping his foot while the room debated whether to even consider it. People found him exhausting, difficult, impatient. And after enough years of being the difficult one, Daniel started to wonder if maybe he just had a problem with waiting, if maybe the issue was him. What Daniel slowly realized was that the problem was never patience. He could wait. For things he believed in, he'd wait years. What he couldn't do was pretend not to see what he saw, or unfeel the readiness once it had arrived. He was a first bird, singing before dawn, surrounded by people who genuinely couldn't hear the morning coming yet. The turn for him wasn't learning to slow down. It was learning that being early is lonely by design, and that the answer wasn't to dim his clock, but to stop reading his readiness as a defect and start treating it as a kind of vision the world would eventually catch up to. There's real science under this, by the way. Researchers studying the spread of new ideas described something called the diffusion of innovations. The finding that any new idea moves through a population in a predictable curve, starting with a small group of innovators and early adopters who embrace it long before the majority does. Studies consistently show this early group makes up only a small slice of any group, often around the first 16%, and that they reliably feel out of step with the mainstream. Not because they're wrong, but because they're ahead of the adoption curve. The discomfort you feel is the early adopter's discomfort. The majority always arrives eventually. You just got there first. So, if you've been calling yourself impatient, here are 3 things I want you to understand. First, early is not the same as wrong. The world conflates the two because, in the moment, they look identical. Both stand alone, both get doubted, but early means right plus lonely. Don't let the loneliness convince you that you were mistaken about what you clearly saw. Second, the ache you feel is the gap, not a flaw in you. That restlessness isn't a sign you can't handle waiting. It's the friction of living ahead of your moment, of carrying a readiness the world hasn't grown into yet. The ache is real, but it's information about timing, not a verdict on your character. Third, your job is to stay ready without burning out waiting. The first bird doesn't stop singing because the sky is still dark, but it also doesn't exhaust itself, raging at the sun for being slow. You hold your vision, you keep your readiness alive, and you make peace with the fact that being early means waiting in a dark that you alone can feel ending. So stop apologizing for arriving on time to a morning no one else can sense yet. You were never impatient. You were simply early, tuned to a dawn the rest of the room hadn't woken up to. The inventor and futurist Buckminster Fuller once said that there is nothing in a caterpillar that tells you it's going to be a butterfly. You can see the butterfly while everyone else is still looking at the caterpillar. That's not impatience. That's sight. That's not a flaw to fix. That's a clock to trust. You were never impatient. You were just ready before the world caught up, singing into the dark like the first bird, told you were too early by people who couldn't yet feel the light coming. Keep singing. The The morning you've been waiting for is on its way to everyone else now too.